Hello and welcome to Open Studio. Before we begin tonight, I want to introduce the company Harmonic Changes Therapy Services. We provide many services, including individual and group music therapy, traditional and adapted music lessons, and music workshops. We're currently providing services in Los Angeles, Chicago, and via telehealth. And if you're interested in receiving more information about the services we provide, you can contact us through our website at harmonicchanges.com. If this is the first time you're joining or watching a recording of Open Studio, here's a brief introduction. Every last Wednesday of the month, one of our team members at Harmonic Changes provides a presentation on a topic they're interested in or passionate about, and they're typically related to music therapy, therapeutic use of music, and just the work we do at Harmonic Changes, both in LA and the Chicago area. And our Open Studio workshops are meant to be informational and a way to connect with our communities. Our social media handles and other contact information will be at the end of this presentation. And this event is being recorded, and you'll be able to view it on our YouTube channel once it's uploaded here. Excuse me, there. My name is Nicole Frederick. I'm a board-certified music therapist and a licensed mental health counselor in the state of Massachusetts. And while I have several special interests and topics that I'm passionate about in the world of music and healing, I decided to present on something that will appeal to everyone by talking about online resources. So I'm going to go ahead here and share my screen. All right, and see if I can make this full screen. Excuse me for a moment here. There we go. So as I mentioned, this is Open Studio. Welcome. I'm going to be presenting online resources. That's me. So we don't have many attendants tonight, so I'll just go ahead and talk about these two questions. Do you use the internet or social media in regard to music therapy work? And do you think it could be considered a resource or tool for music therapists? So I do believe both of those things. Today, I have a collection of different online resources. I have 10 pages that can be used. And of course, there are many wonderful online resources that aren't here, or companies that utilize social media for interventions or connecting as a community. But I do believe that it can be used as a resource or tool. I use social media absolutely for the use of connecting with friends and family as a way to decompress, a way to entertain myself. I'm not above the mindless scroll, but I found myself more and more, especially through the pandemic, when I wasn't getting as much input in person from other music therapists, as a way to connect and learn what people were doing. I started in this profession a year or two prior to the pandemic, but I feel like the first 5 years in any profession are really crucial to feel established and connected. And social media provided a unique opportunity, especially once the pandemic hit. People were turning to those online resources to share the work they were doing, and things like in the past, I think it was probably harder for music therapists across the country and the world to access, for example, CMT credits without going to a conference or signing up for the journal, things like that. And now online, there are so many ways to earn credits, to engage in actual conversation, ideas to feel more motivated and excited for the profession. Everyone experiences burnout, right? No matter what you do, but in a unique way, when you're feeling just that little bit of a slump, to get a little boost, feel connected. I use online resources all the time for my sessions. I look I look up songs, I look up lyrics, especially when I'm in, for example, an elder care facility or working with older folks and they suggest a song I've never heard of. Obviously, that happens across the age spectrum, but I find myself personally doing this the most when I'm working with elder care. I'll quickly look it up. Sometimes I'll play it if it's appropriate, but sometimes I'll just leave it on my phone, and then later when I'm doing, admin work or have a minute to do so, I can return to that, listen to the song, and either think, oh yeah, this would be a great one to learn. I can use it with this client, maybe other clients as well. Or maybe I just listen to that song and then I have a different sense of connection with that client. Okay, I understand this is a song that's important to them. I'm curious, why is that song? Does it remind them of something? Is it just the sound of it? Is it the lyrics? And kind of brings the intervention to the next level when I have a chance to get back to them. Of course, internet is not always readily accessible when we're doing our work, but when it is, it's great. The other thing is doing, again, as I mentioned earlier, the CMTE credits. So continuing music therapy education, we need that for our licensure to continue to be licensed music therapists. And there are ways, online classes, there are podcasts you can listen to and actually earn CMTE credit. How cool is that? I know for myself, as a community-based music therapist, which I know many music therapists are, we have a lot of car time or a lot of travel time, even if you're on public transportation or walking or however it is that you get to your clients. And sometimes it can feel like this time is, dead time a little bit. Of course, I definitely do, listen to music, or sometimes I'm burnt out from listening to music. So I'll listen to a podcast, and sometimes I'm just listening to something for entertainment. But how wonderful is it to have that resource that if I want to be learning about something or hear about a music therapist in particular, I want to know more about their work, their approach, maybe the different kinds of trainings that they have. What a wonderful opportunity to do it that way. So I did want to quickly mention it is a privilege to have access to internet. And I want to recognize that not only the ability to live in a place where internet is so accessible, but also have the resources to have devices that can access the internet. I can look something up literally in the palm of my hand with my phone. And so how do we be intentional with this wonderful resources, accessibility, this privilege? So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our first site. So these are 10 websites. I'm going to go through them fairly quickly. Everyone knows how to click through. I'm assuming everyone that's accessed this video also knows how to click through a website. But I did want to allow just an ability to kind of check in and see like what do each of these sorts of websites offer. Oops, excuse me. So our first one is Creative Therapy Umbrella. I think that her logo is so cute. I'm not sure why my link isn't working here. Let's do it this way. So we'll go right to About. And this is Kate. And she is a music therapist, but she's also, excuse me, let's close that out, LCPC. She's also a licensed creative art therapist. So I think the nice thing about all of these resources is that they are all music therapists, but some people have other trainings, other kind of avenues that they're coming to the practice. And that's such a great thing to be able to learn from people who maybe think a little bit differently, have different experiences from us. So I'm all about that. Kate has some free interventions on here. So some printouts, some, I love this, the emotions thermometer. I clicked on the worry bug intervention. So this is using a book. So she has lots of different ideas of things that are for free, which is great. And then we can connect with her. She has a consultation, a media kit. She also has an online community, which I'll take a look at really quickly and show you what the options are. So it's called the Umbrella Community. and essentially allows you access to speaking with other folks, getting intervention ideas. There are 3 general ways to kind of become a part of this. So there's the resource only and individual supervision, the umbrella community, which is just the resources, and then resources and group supervision. So the nice thing is, even if you only sign up for the resources, you can still be part of the private Facebook group, and you still get discounts. You still, it's you know, kind of worth the cost, despite it being you know, what might be considered kind of less than you're not in the group supervision, for example. Okay. And then Kate also has a podcast. And again, because she comes from this kind of different, more than just a music therapist, she talks to people from really all different kinds of avenues, which is, again, so great to hear from other people that are, you know, parallel to or kind of intersecting with the field of music therapy. All right, so I'm going to close out that one. And the next one we have is Music for Kiddos. Another fun logo. Okay, so this is really geared toward early intervention and younger folks, using music therapy with younger folks. Let's go ahead and look at who the face behind the page. This is Stephanie. And Stephanie also runs a symposium. She has an online community as well, that she has like lots of resources. Her group is sold out right now, and they're starting over again in this coming summer. She has courses online, so literacy for littles, so developing language, teaching guitar. She has a whole kind of curriculum for guitar. Let me go ahead and move that over there. Empowering little leaders. How incredibly important is this? And really great that somebody has kind of streamlined that whole thing for us. And out of the music box, she has tons of them. I'm not going to scroll through them all. The one thing I did want to mention, you get CMTEs for doing these courses. They aren't free, but they aren't terribly expensive either. And you can do it on your own time. It's not like a conference where you have to sit down and be, you know, super engaged for an hour and a half listening to someone talk, which of course is wonderful. And we love learning from our other professionals, but sometimes we don't have time, or we don't have the funds to book a hotel and all these sorts of things that are involved with that. So, you know, what a wonderful and easy way to do it. Stephanie also has a book that she's written, and it's a music therapy book. So it's meant to be a musical intervention. It's called The Shy Little Monster, which is just like, it's very adorable. And it's really about like this shy monster and why it's okay to be shy, firstly. And then also, how do we empower, how do we ask for help to empower ourselves, that kind of thing. So Stephanie also does have a podcast with lots of different, you know, topics and things like that, with different people, which is so great. So she's got, seeing, I think, over 60 episodes now, which is wonderful. And she also has free music over here. So I forgot to mention this on the last page, but maybe I'll pull it up really quick. So Stephanie has, oops, let's see. Stephanie has an Instagram page that is great. You know, some of it is about resources. Some of it is about just kind of like living life as a music therapist and what that life is like. I personally like following her on Instagram because it's like little bite-sized chunks of, you know, here's a way to focus on, let's see, let me find another one. How to use a stretchy band in group music. And it's just this quick little video. Oh, I hadn't thought about using it that way. Or she has, you know, longer kind of segments that you can tap into. Okay. So that's Music for Kiddos. Our next site here is Music Therapy Chronicles. And I love that image of a guitar listening to music. I think that's really cool. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just go right to About. So we can see again the face behind the page. And this is Trisha. Again, she is a board certified music therapist. She's active, in actually right now in the New England region, but she's part of the community, right? So she is, she has lots of free resources as well. She has a podcast. Now, the really unique and wonderful thing about Trisha is that she has also created the Music Therapy Podcast Collective. And the reason that's unique is because this is a resource you can listen to podcasts and earn the CMT credit. So again, how are we kind of maximizing our downtime? Although I am very much a fan of when it's downtime, but especially like when we're in the car, when we're here she says that as music therapists, we're often chugging along in our car between sessions. Why not, be able to earn some credit for it? Again, this isn't free. For music therapists, we want to be paying our peers for the work that they're doing. But it's much more affordable, again, than needing to pay for a conference and all that sort of thing. Okay. So thank you to Trisha for figuring that out and making it accessible for us. Okay, so this is musictherapyed.com, and this is really a learning resource. So as opposed to the previous pages I showed you are active music therapists who are doing this sort of online thing as well. This really is just supposed to be for courses, session ideas. They have an online community called Project Campfire, and that is meant to be kind of a place to come and get your creative juices flowing. I really like the way they describe it down here. Imagine us all together, music therapists gathered around a fire, comfy and cozy. Someone brings a guitar, we start singing, laughing, sharing stories and session ideas. I know for myself, when I was in grad school, I had a really wonderful cohort, and maybe we didn't do it exactly like campfire style, but we did get together every so often. And, what did it look like to sit together and like, oh my gosh, I thought of this cool thing, or I was reading this and let's talk about that thing. It wasn't always academic, of course, but to feel that kind of connection and sense of just like flow as you're with your friends, and even just making music together. What a wonderful thing, right? So they do have tons of session ideas. As I mentioned, they have some courses online that you can do as well. So you can kind of sign up for their month, they send things to you. Wanted to make sure. So I did want to just touch on, these are their courses. They have lots of different options. Some of them are more, as opposed to an intervention or learning about NMT or something like that. It's specific to a technique or something like that, which is kind of nice too, to get credit while we're getting better at our practice and our instruments. Okay. Bear with me, folks, we're getting through it. Okay, so then we have Music Therapy Made Simple. I love this page. I think that their aesthetic is just adorable. And I certainly don't mean that in a demeaning way, but it's very appealing, at least to me. So they have lots of different options here. They do have some really cute apparel. They have lots of different materials for free, lots of printables, song ideas, intervention ideas, adaptive lesson material. You can see here, documentation, etc. Some songs that you can use, so academic, hello and goodbye. You can see down here some beginning math skills, for example. The unique thing about this page is that they do offer supervision. So I'll just go ahead and click on that. And they have online clinical supervision, virtual music mentoring sessions. They have some different options here, which is great. Let's see. I believe there's a picture here of the folks behind. Yeah, here we go. So we have Katie, Haley, and Candace. So I do want to quickly show you their Instagram page. I personally really enjoy their page. I think it's It's really fun because, again, when we're kind of in the slog of it, of the day-to-day experience of being a music therapist, sometimes it's like nobody gets us. But there are people who do get us, and they're out there and they're making fun things for us to kind of relate to. Sorry, I'm trying to find their Instagram handle. Excuse me. Well, you'll have to take my word for it. Music Therapy Made Simple. They have a Instagram page as well. Okay, let's keep going. So the Spiegel Academy is predominantly academic. So they really have tons of classes and courses and online learning kind of modules and communities and all this sort of thing. So I have taken their DBT and music course run by Debbie Spiegel. She is kind of the mind behind how to combine these two things. Obviously, we know that music therapy can be kind of introduced in lots and lots of different theories and things like that, but how to do it really intentionally and how do we be more specific about what it could look like and what it should look like. So she has, a very intensive course that you can take, but she occasionally will offer like a free introduction course, and you can actually get CMT credits, and it is free. And I personally found it really helpful when I was just kind of learning to work with individuals who were teens and struggling with personality things, just kind of budding personality things, as well as, just the certain kinds of things that DBT can really be helpful for. So it was great to get a little flavor of what that can look like. And again, they have tons and tons of stuff in their catalog, so it might be something worth checking out. Heart and Harmony. I love this logo as well. I think it's very sweet. Heart and Harmony is, they are active, similar to Harmonic Changes, where they are an active music therapy community-based group. They have lots of different services, pretty standard for music therapy, but they do offer music therapy supervision. They also offer business mentoring. So if you're somebody who lives a little bit more remotely, or maybe business is not your, the way your brain works, mine personally does not. So what a wonderful thing to have access to people who are doing it in the field, can answer questions, can kind of guide your journey. I have sound birthing music therapy, which is really cool, and I am hoping to learn more about. I think it's such an interesting thing. So they also offer employment internship, practicum, observation, and collaboration. I know that they do have an Instagram page as well. But so this is the team behind this company. So they have a fairly large team, so I won't necessarily go through all of them, but yeah, they're great. Okay, couple more here. Listen, Learn Music. So this page is run by a music therapist named Rachel. And so she's an active music therapist in the field. She has so many different things here. So she's got a blog. She has songs, lots of song options to, learn from. She has resources. So this Rachel's Favorite Things is actually a link to an Amazon page, and just different things that she uses in her practice. Of course, we love to support small businesses, but it's great to at least see like what are the brands that someone has tried and true. Like somebody has smacked the heck out of this drum and it is still great. I've used lots of cleaning product on this thing and it's still, working well. It hasn't damaged the surface, anything like that. to have somebody's like recommendation. It's like having an older sibling be like, hey, you got to check this thing out, right? We want to have someone that actually knows that, yeah, this really works. So she also, I wanted to talk about this. She has these courses. So the Introvert's Guide. And, you know, I myself am selling myself is not something I am good at. So having somebody that can kind of talk about like, how do you market yourself as a music therapist, especially if you have your own business, you know, whether that's an introvert thing, whether that's a therapist thing, whether it's a personality thing, some people just do need that kind of extra boost. How do I do this? It feels so foreign to me. And she's kind of talked that through and thought about how to help other people with that. So she has some early childhood programs. And then here's a great thing, innovative income for music therapists. So I've had this conversation lots of times with somebody else who I'm going to be talking about, but I was having this conversation literally just the other night with another colleague, and how as music therapists, we do active income. So you know, she says it right here. It requires two very precious limited resources, time and energy. We have to be in the chair across from our clients to be earning our income. And of course, that's why we do what we do. But in this big bad world, what are some ways that we can make some passive income, some other ways to share what we know and be compensated for that? Because that's really important. And to be doing that while we're not in the chair. So I just love that she has some ideas on that as well. All right. So there are 2 pages, and I don't want this to get confusing. There's Music Therapy Ed and Music Therapy Ed Now. They are 2 different pages. This site was started by a group of students who were finishing their degree. They are now all graduated. But the nice thing about this is it talks about being a student. I know for myself, classes were great. Readings were great. Learning about, you know, what it is that music therapy does is wonderful. But when you are in grad school or undergrad, when you're learning about music therapy, you're not necessarily learning what the field is going to be like. You're learning what music therapy is, how to do it, and those kinds of things. And this site is great because they really talk to active music therapists. They have what's called Tuesday Takeover on their Instagram page. And they have, I was thinking, oh, it's today Tuesday. It's not, it's Wednesday. But they do have professionals that take over the page for the day. So you can, as a student or even as a professional, you can see like, oh, this is what it's like. So you can see here, somebody, Addie McCoy, took over this past Tuesday. And if you kind of go through, you can see other folks who've taken it over. And they talk about what is it like to be in the field? What do you specifically do? Are you community-based? Do you work in a hospital? Do you work in elder care? Just the many, many different ways that music therapists operate in the world. Okay, so this is my favorite page because I have a very strong personal connection to Perry Strongwater. And Perry and I went to graduate school together and have been friends and colleagues since. I worked for Strongwater Studios while in grad school. And she is a wonderful person, wonderful music therapist, and she has this great website. Of course, I really like her logo because I was working for her at the time when she was creating this logo. But I do want to show you that she has a great website because she talks about what are the ways that music therapy shows up in mental health, in medical music therapy, for seniors, for memory care. And Perry has created a really great early childhood music program that is like streamlined. It is really well operating, and it's called Do, Re, Mi, and You. And she operates in the Boston area. However, she does this online as well. So if you know somebody that's interested in doing these kinds of courses, definitely sign up, because that's another wonderful thing about the internet now, right? We have access to things that we didn't before. So Perry's great. Her company is great. She also has a wonderful Instagram page that she talks about, again, these kind of like bite-sized, here's an intervention idea. Also, here's my baby, because she just had a baby who's so cute, very sweet. And, talks about, here's my offerings this week. So great page, great page. Okay. So let's go ahead. Oops. And finish up here. So this is a chart that I created. So these are the 10 pages that I presented on, and I created a chart. So it's a little bit easier to digest because I went through so many different things there. And talked about, okay, so just about every page. Honestly, the Spiegel Academy does have an Instagram page and probably Facebook and things like that, but it's not as active. It's not as much of like how they're trying to target their audience. I talked about who offers CMTEs. Listen Learn Music does have courses, but you can't earn CMTE credits. Free CMTEs, I forgot to mention this actually. So Music Therapy Ed does offer them for free. Music Therapy Made Simple does offer free courses, but they're not CMTE eligible. These folks offer podcasts. Just about everybody except for Music Therapy Chronicles offers intervention ideas. And truthfully, I might even be wrong about that. I maybe just didn't see it on there. Some online communities, and some of them that offer actual supervision as music therapists. It's important to be learning from folks who have experience, and which of these are actually active providers in the field, because some of them were really like an online resource or a way to connect to others, but weren't necessarily actively providing services. So I am going to put this in the blog post that will go up alongside this this video. So if you are interested, it will be accessible. And here is our social media and ways to get in touch with us. So we do have an active social media page, often posting about Open Studio or blog posts, or each of us have created a video of us sharing an intervention or a song or things like that. So maybe give us a follow as well. And that is the end of my presentation. I know we don't have many folks watching live tonight, but if there are any questions, go right ahead. You can put them in the chat. Otherwise, thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks for listening if you are joining us just as the recording. All right, I'm going to end there. Again, thank you and have a great night.